There's an
I
objection.
object. We have no foundation or basis for this video. We haven't seen it, and
It's
I
a
object.
medical expert from your side.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got a banger again for you because this time actually I found living proof in real life in Congress that certain Democrats, when you speak the truth, it really pisses them off. So we got this Republican lady called Kat Kamak. She was in Congress. She is from Florida. And she decided, I have proof to show you why we need to look into this. And it pisses the Democrats at this Congress off. And I was like, really?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I am so grateful to my colleagues.
Recognizes Ms. Kamick for 5 minutes on the amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I am so grateful to my colleagues, Representative Crenshaw for his leadership on this bill, and all of my colleagues here who are supporting funding for our children's hospitals. I want to reiterate again that nothing in this bill would prohibit a child with gender dysphoria from receiving proper mental and behavioral health care services.
Sounds perfectly reasonable to help kids with gender dysphoria. But personally, if we're talking about permanent changes, possibility to the things that you remove, or puberty blockers that you're not even sure that can be reversed, I think you need to understand more.
The underlying text is limited to experimental medical intervention, specifically using puberty blockers, hormone therapies, and surgeries to change a child's gender. And it was mentioned several times from my colleagues on the other side of the aisle that we don't understand this process. And so for the sake of clarity, really, I'd like to show a video, a brief interview that was conducted by an expert in gender reassignment surgeries from Oregon's healthcare system.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
I move that the committee adjourn. This has turned into a circus. I move that the committee be adjourned.
Come on, man.
It's
Come
official.
on.
It's official testimony.
It's people from your side usually that can explain it also, but you don't even understand it and you advocate for it?
Madam Chair, can I just ask,
Madam
rather
Chair, without
than
objection, I
object.
would like to. I
Okay,
would like to play this
committee
video.
will come to order.
I was
Motion
going
to adjourn is not debatable, right?
This is so shameful
I
for
have
the
to-
kids.
I have to ask, okay, so Ms. Kamick
Madam
controls
Chair.
the time. She gets her 5 minutes, and then we'll move to
Madam
the
Chair.
vote on the motion
Madam
to
Chair.
adjourn.
So literally what is happening right now, gender reassignment surgery at Congress, Democrats are like, adjourn, because I might have said I don't understand it, but if you come with videos that explain it, I don't want to talk about it. And you're telling, you're not censoring people? You're not the narcissist that says, I can speak, but you cannot show me the things that even my own people might have said that we need to take in consideration for the kids? Hey man, it's like a one-way street with these people sometimes that I'm like, yo, I don't care if we disagree, but we're talking about permanent changes that can happen to kids. Come on, man.
We don't want to
Thank
be
you,
held
Madam Chair.
hostage
Sorry,
by
Rhea-
whatever it
Rhea,
is that you
excuse
guys
me,
are
Claiming
the
my
committee will
hostage.
come to order.
Hell, hostage.
Ms.
You'll
Kamick
have your
controls
votes.
the time. Ms. Kamick controls the time.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, Chairwoman. Without objection, I would like to.
I
play this
object.
video.
there's an
I
objection.
object. We have no foundation or basis for this video. We haven't seen it, and
It's
I
a
object.
medical expert from your side.
I
Wow.
object.
If we don't as you claim, if we do not understand how this surgeries work, I would like to show a video that articulates how these surgeries are conducted. I think that is completely
On your
germane to the
side.
conversation that we are having here today.
They just don't want to be educated because they are the teachers and we are the caregiver, which makes me wonder if they think like that for adults. What do you think they think about the kids?
Excuse me. Lady will suspend. Committee will come to order.
Yeah, put some order, man. Lady, my bad, or whatever you want to identify.
Ms. Kamick gets to finish her 5 minutes, and then we will proceed.
Thank you. Please play the video.
Ooh, it's coming.
It's an interview.
Okay. Committee stands at recess while the minority gets to look at the video.
I want to look at that.
Ms. Kamick had asked unanimous consent for the committee to watch the video. There was an objection. I'm going to yield now to Mr. Pallone for the purposes of his objection.
I have looked at the video, but I insist on my objection because I have to be honest, I don't even understand what the person is saying. It's all, to me, it's just almost impossible for us to
Then why are you pushing something that you don't even
understand what he's saying and how it relates to what we're discussing here. Even the authentication is difficult, so I insist on the objection, Madam Chair.
Instead of a unanimous consent, the committee, I'm going to ask then that the committee vote as to whether or not to see the video. The clerk will report the vote.
Chair Rogers, on that vote, there are 26 ayes and 18 noes.
The ayes have it. We will watch the video.
Let's go. Real people.
Okay.
I do facial, chest surgery, and genital surgery. But the majority of my practice and sort of where my passion lies is really genital surgery cases. So I do a lot of vaginoplasty and a lot of phalloplasty. I would just say they're expanding in either direction.
I don't understand how your passion can be genital surgery or something like that.
So yeah, a lot of adolescents presenting for surgical intervention, but also a lot of people that are like in their 70s sometimes coming in for genital surgery, and then everything in between. But the adolescents for sure present some unique challenges. Obviously, there's great evidence supporting pubertal suppression for a whole.
I remembered I covered this a long time ago, so it's not new, but it is a video from a gender clinic when they did an interview, and I'm not sure if it was an exposition or whatever, but it was from the clinic. And this is how they speak to you, especially when they don't even know if you're on the other side. But if you're an ally, they will speak about it in a comfortable way. But someday they start realizing maybe certain things that we push, it's not getting the best results, but in the moment, the person is happier.
Whole variety of benefits. But the one thing that is very new is genital surgery in someone that has underwent pubertal suppression. Not so much an issue in someone with assigned female at birth anatomy that undergoes a phalloplasty, because we're creating something with a free tissue transfer or a flap anyway.
In other words, for the ladies, they remove this skin and use this skin to put something down there, wrap it around it, and hopefully it looks normal and they can use it. But sometimes if it doesn't work, you still keep the original situation down there and it still functions like it, because you're just adding something. But for a male, you're actually removing that part, redesign it with the skin, and hope the skin heals properly and doesn't start go necro. And by necro, it starts protruding, become black, and all the pus, and you need to keep it opening it forever in your life, because it's a hole that actually is a wound, and we know wounds try to close themselves. So you need to keep reminding your body that we don't want that to happen. It's not this skin. It's not even this skin. It's an open wound skin that you need to keep open. And if it closes, it will close it with the pus inside, and you're going to have a big issue.
But a much bigger issue for an individual that's undergoing a penile inversion vaginoplasty, because we use all of that tissue to basically create the vulva as well as line the internal vaginal canal. And as a specialty, those of us that do a fairly high volume of genital gender affirming surgery, we've maybe done a handful of pubertally suppressed adolescents as a field, and no one's published on it.
It's bad because the skins and the stuff they're going to use in your body, like of your PP or whatever, you're in puberty process. You don't have all the parts correctly. And sometimes they need to steal parts from other parts, and that can cause people to pass away. I made a video about it, that a kid that tried to remove something, they tried to add it, and then the person didn't wake up anymore. The body couldn't resist all the changes and passed away. It happened in Holland.
Yeah, OHSU we're just putting our first series together as we're kind of learning and figuring out what works. But it's really changing things because you don't have enough tissue to line the vaginal
See?
canal, so you either have to take a skin graft or take skin from elsewhere or use some artificial product. The way that we're dealing with it is by using a robot, and we're basically performing intra-abdominal components of the surgery. So we're using peritoneum, which is the inner lining of the abdomen, to line most of the vaginal canal. And by doing that, that allows us to use all of the remaining tissue externally to create a vulva and try to make also an aesthetic result.
So they don't just remove the penis, they redesign it. So they cut specific things and design it, and then put extra skins from certain parts together, hope they will heal together so it look like a lady's part. That is what they're doing. And like if you have a hole here, you want it closed, we're taking a little skin over here, we're gonna add it like that, and hopefully it will heal together. You don't have to be a doctor to be like, you're talking about a hole that at least can take a dig 15 centimeter in your body. Do you see where I'm going? Generally speaking.
From Dr. Blair Peters, who is a gender-affirming surgery expert at the University of Oregon's
Told
Health
you.
and Science Division. Earlier today, just a few minutes ago, our colleagues on the left said that we didn't know what we were talking about. So when presented with a video that details exactly what it means to conduct surgery on a minor for gender-affirming surgery, they left the room. They don't want the fact.
They don't want you to know. I don't care if you don't like the truth for certain people, but the fact that you walk away to not even let people represent the truth so you can have a chance to educate yourself and provide an answer. What I don't want because now, come on, man. If you don't want to talk, what's going to come next? War.
And as you heard from the specialist who does these surgeries, they don't know what they don't know. They don't understand the long-term effects.
Yeah,
There is
he
not
said
even
it.
published.
Yeah, he said it in the video. He was like, I'm not sure,
Yeah, OHSU we're just putting our first series together as we're kind of learning and figuring out what works.
And I'm like, it feels like I'm an experiment. I remember I made a video that the person says it's a plane that we're building and hoping it works.
I'll end by quoting Jamie Reed, the courageous whistleblower from the Children's Gender Clinic in St. Louis. I believe that hospital receives the medical education funding that we're discussing today. She said that doctors at that clinic said, we are building the plane while we are flying it. That's how they described the treatment at their gender clinic. Our precious tax dollars should not support such a perilous experiment.
And I'm like, why would you even go along with this? Unless it's your passion.
Information, peer-reviewed information, backing up the claims that our colleagues on the left have said. We are here today to fund children's hospitals, not to mutilate them with experimental surgeries that we do not have science and data that backs up the claims that the left has made today. So I stand with my colleagues in funding these children's hospitals, but I also am very disappointed in my colleagues on the left who opted to leave the room in protest and refuse to watch a video from an expert on their own side. With that, Madam Chairwoman, I thank
makes
you for
sense.
allowing me to show this video, and I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. Further discussion on the amendment?
No, look, they left. They freaking
Seeing none,
left.
the vote occurs.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to attack people. I'm just trying to say, if I agree with you to help kids in the way that you think it's important, if I notice something that makes me worried that even the doctors are not sure what they're doing, you should at least be there to listen, okay? If somebody is going to tell me as a Christian, I have facts that the Bible is a fairy tale, I have to be able to sit there, hear the story, and then come to my conclusion that, hey, maybe this person is right. Maybe they have a good point. The fact that I want to chat shows my empathy and my understanding and my inclusiveness and my own decision. These people, not all Democrats, but those that have usually the biggest voice that nobody is challenging because they know they will be kicked out, I find them sometimes the cancer of society, that people have convinced themselves they are helping. And it's weird. And I'm going to call this out 24/7. Children should be treated as a gem. And if you don't understand that and you want to do this gender stuff without the talk, I think that is pure evil. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about the whole situation. Like, share, hit the bell notification, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.